$10.375 million. That's the number the Jets would see if they cut Jamison Crowder. The veteran slot man has been Sam Darnold's most consistent weapon. Although the stats haven't piled up, it's true. The question is, does Joe Douglas hold on to the man for 2021? Back shoulder breakdown, James Wighouse believes they should. And in order to understand Crowder's true value, you have to break down the film. And you have to break down the intricacies of his play, not just the highlights such as one-handed grabs and touchdowns. Here we go, as we look into Crowder's value and why that should be good enough to not cut the man as a cap casualty this offseason.
Okay, so this is the Raiders game, fourth quarter, down by 11. 2 straight first downs to this point. Got to keep the momentum. So who's next to make a positive play? And you're going to hear me say this a couple times, but this isn't a perfect world. When there's nothing there, you want your veterans to get crafty, make something out of nothing. Don't let a negative play sink in and kill a drive. And Jamison steps up, and he becomes all reliable for his quarterback. And call me crazy, that's okay. But this 11-yard gain from Crowder is my favorite play of his 2020 season. It's simple, yet it's complex. And the Jets are just in a doubles formation. Crowder's the number 2 to the field. And Sam is going to look to the boundary at the snap. And he's going to be looking for the slant-flat combination. But it's just not there. The Raiders have it covered with their cover 1 defense. It's man coverage across the board with one high middle of the field safety. And they're just bringing 4. So there's one extra defender. And that extra defender is the backer, who here he's just going to sit in the middle of the field, read the quarterback, look for work. And so with Crowder in the slot here, being that it's press man coverage, it's likely that he has a drag route right off the bat. But when you have a defender playing man coverage like this on you, press man especially, you're going to want to continue on the move. And that's exactly what Jamison Crowder is going to do here until this backer that's playing the middle zone gets his eyes on Jamison Crowder, and Jamison Crowder recognizes that. And so he's going to stop. And he does that. He's not going to continue on here into what would wind up being double coverage with this backer and the man defender behind him. So he just says, I'm going to cut this off. And so he cuts it off and he sits. And at this point in Sam's progression, he goes through his reads, and now he has his eyes on Crowder. And again, it's just not there. And so watch what Crowder decides to do. It's very creative. It's very instinctive. It's really interesting to watch. So it's hard to see, but I'm going to kind of go through it here. What he's going to do is he's going to peek to his left and see this vacant zone. And then once he sees it, he's going to turn his head back to Sam, and then he's going to go. And what you can see from Sam here is even he's not entirely sure what Crowder's going to do here, because when Crowder decides to go left, Sam gives this pump fake and then has to just quickly get it out to Crowder, who's in now the vacant zone, and he finds this hole and he gets another first down. And, at first, kind of bringing it back here, I thought, maybe this might be what some people call a China route. Now, a China route is just when the wide receiver comes in, just like Crowder's doing here, and then he cuts it off and then brings it back to the outside. But Crowder here looks like he's absolutely reading the defense, and he's checking right here. Here's the vacant zone. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get the ball from Sam, and I'm going to get a first down. And you could see it definitely did not look planned, because Sam has to give this little pump fake right there and then quickly get it off. So it's just a great job by Crowder to be crafty enough to say, okay, I'm not open. I'm not going to continue my route, but I'm going to find this vacant zone, and I'm going to get my quarterback an open man to get the ball to before the pressure reaches him. Okay. The Jets are on Buffalo's 44. It's 3rd and 6, so the all-important third down. And this is where you look to your playmakers. The hope is that the line blocks well and the play design works for a quick decision and you're moving the chains, but this isn't a perfect world. And sometimes the you-know-what hits the fan, and when that happens, what do your veteran playmakers do? It's a fast game, so instincts have to take over. And the Jets come out in a trips open look. Trips to the field. Buffalo's going to disguise coverage. They're going to give a bit of a too high look here, but they're going to have 7 in the box, which includes both of the backers and this nickel corner that's creeping down. And based on the defensive alignment, you're expecting zone coverage. It would just be very difficult for Buffalo to get manned up on the trip side with nobody over the number 3, who's Jamison Crowder, and a safety nearly 15 yards deep on the number 2 in the trips. And also, it's 3rd and 6, so you wouldn't have all of this cushion. And now Crowder's the number 3 in the trips. The number 1's on the outside. They're just going to run dig routes. And then Crowder is the number 3 and Herndon as the number 2. They're just going to find open spots in the zone and sit near the first down marker. And so right before the snap, what you're going to notice here is the safety at the top of the screen, he's going to drop down to be the flat defender, but he's really going to play near the sticks. And this boundary corner to the bottom of the screen, he's going to bail, which leaves this safety at the bottom of the screen to roll high to be the middle of the field safety. And the nickel backer, he will blitz. The nickel corner, he will blitz. And both backers are going to end up dropping to be the hook defenders. And when we roll the tape here, Crowder's going to find the zone in between the 2 hook defenders, but he's pretty immediately going to realize that Sam's in trouble. And Sam does a great job of evading the rush. It's on him ASAP. But Crowder understands coverages. His job right now at this point in time is to stay in a relationship with Sam, but find the open spot. And so instead of continuing left, where there's this backer who's the hook defender who's going to continue to go left, and we have this flat defender near the sticks who's going to stay there, what Crowder does is he's going to slip behind and he's going to get vertical. And he's going to find this wide open zone, and Sam does a great job just flicking it right to him. So on 3rd and 6, what does your veteran playmaker do? Does he find the zone? Does he understand the coverage before the snap? And then once the play happens, once it goes to crap, what does he do? Crowder finds the open zone, and that is something that has to be accounted for when discussing keeping Crowder at his price. Okay, this is the Denver game. Early in the 4th quarter, down by 11, need a play. Who's going to make it? And again, when the original designed route is not there, how are you going to react on the fly to get open? And Crowder is the number 1 to the field at the bottom of your screen. And he's just going to run an over route. This time, Darnold's going to have a bunch of time in the pocket. He hangs in there. He does a good job going through his progression. Where you're going to see that throws off the play is this safety. Broncos are in a split safety zone coverage. In my opinion, it's cover 6, which is really just cover 2 to one side of the field and cover 4 to the other side of the field. So we have a deep half safety down here to the field and a flat defender in the corner. And then up top to the boundary, we have a deep quarter by the corner, a flat defender, and then what should be a deep quarter from this safety, but he kind of just roams around this whole area here. And what it very well could also be is this safety's a film junkie. He notices something in the formation, whether he's preparing for this dig by a number 1, or he's just actually expecting someone to run this over route and end up in this zone. And the Jets hit a couple of these earlier in the game, and so it might have just been an in-game adjustment that he's just going to kind of sit, and maybe the number 1 corner here is just going to match anything vertical from the number 1, and that's how they're going to play it. And so as I roll the tape here, Sam has his eye on the post from the number 1, but he doesn't like it, so he quickly comes down to his check down out of the backfield, but he doesn't like that either. And then he flips his hips, and Crowder's going to come into his vision right about here. And Crowder's right in the middle of the field. And it seems as though Crowder's expecting the ball right out of his break, which is fine. And if that was the read, it's there if you throw this ball low and away from this safety. It would be an easy catch for Crowder, and he can make that catch away from any kind of danger. but it just comes too late because Sam is going through his progression. And so what you could see here is this throw is no longer here to Crowder. The safety is playing this perfectly. And so now it's up to Crowder. What's he going to do? How's he going to get open? Sam miraculously still has a bunch of time, is something we don't see very often. But what you're going to see that Crowder does here is he's going to flip his head and see the safety. And then he's going to flip his head back to Sam because he knows he's getting vertical. He's not going to continue this route into the safety. He's not going to run himself into coverage. And he sticks his foot in the ground and he makes that decision to go vertical. He's probably thinking, okay, you want to play, this safety wants to play it shallow. If he wants to play it underneath so he can cut in between, that's fine. I'm just going to stick my foot in the ground. I'm going to go vertical. And Sam's going to put it on him. It's a little underthrown, but Crowder's going to play big, and he's going to make that catch. Okay, so this is the Rams game. Crowder does it yet again. His quarterback's going to be in trouble. He finds the open spot for a huge gain late in the third quarter. And this is a 24-yard gain, one play after Crowder has a 16-yard gain on a 3rd and short. So he moves the chains on 3rd down, and then follows it up with a heads-up play to get the Jets near the 5-yard line, which eventually sets them up for a touchdown. And I'm just going to play this one for you guys. Crowder's the number 1 down here to the field at the bottom of the screen with Denzel Mims. And Sam is going to read the boundary at the snap, and there's going to be nothing there. And to no surprise, what's going to happen is Aaron Donald's going to break free right here. And Sam actually does a great job, excellent job of evading the All-Pro. And Crowder's right here in the middle of your screen with the defender right behind him. And when Sam breaks the pocket, Crowder does a great job of initially staying in great relationship with Sam. And as Sam rolls right, Crowder's going to kind of follow him for a little bit. But you could see right here in this still picture, Crowder gives some contact with his defender as though he's going to continue on. And what's going to end up happening is the defender's going to lose track of Crowder, and he's going to commit to Sam just as Crowder sticks his foot in the ground and he goes vertical. And he's wide open from there. Sam puts it right on him, just a little flick of the wrist. And we got yards after the catch here that gets the Jets to the 6-yard line and eventually sets them up for a touchdown with what ends up being their first win of the season. So great job once again by Crowder to get this done. Okay, now the Jets are in 5 wide. Crowder is the number 2 to the field, once again in the trip side of the formation. And now it's the 4th quarter. Now it's 3rd and 2. Who's going to make the play? And this is one of my main points. It's, Sam Darnold here. You can tell the whole way. He knows where he's going. There is no other option for Sam here. He's thinking in his head, 3rd and 2, I need the first down. I'm going to go to Jamison Crowder. I know that he can get open. And that is the comfort level that Jamison Crowder, as the route runner, as the reliable target, can give either your young quarterback or your 4th-year quarterback that is looking to improve his play. And Crowder is right down here, and he's just got this defender in man coverage, and he's just going to run a slant route. And watch how he runs it. He knows that this corner, he's playing soft press. So if he can give him a look of initially looking as though he's going to go vertical, this corner has to turn his hips. And once he turns his hips, it's foot in the ground and it's get inside to the slant. And I just want you guys to just enjoy this route here by Jamison Crowder so you can understand what it is that he can do as a crafty route runner. And he's right here, and he's going to do just exactly what I said. He's going to give this little hesitation, this little I'm about to go outside, boom, stick his foot in the ground as the corner has his hips turned to the outside in his man turn, and he's just not able to get there. Sam does a good job putting it right on the body, getting the first down, move the chains. Okay, back to the Broncos game. This is 3rd and 9. This play and route by Crowder stood out to me, showed his craft, his intelligence, his understanding of spacing. And Crowder's the number 2 in the formation to the field, and he's going to have a comeback route. And the number 1 here to the field as well has a 5-yard in. And these two corners are just playing man coverage. And they're on different levels in order to prevent any pick or mesh concept that would help one receiver free up the other. And Crowder finds a way to have this outside corner set the pick on Crowder's man defender. And part of that is the outside corner's depth, but it's also the craft and intelligence of Crowder to understand when to break off the comeback route. And so as we run it here, Crowder is going to get vertical. And once the number one breaks in, this outside corner realizes he's got to go. And so Crowder breaks it off into the comeback route at the exact moment that the outside corner gets in the way of Crowder's man defender. And so now he continues to separate by coming back to his quarterback, back to the sticks, to the sideline, and he makes a great catch on a low throw for a first down. And right here, he's once again moving the chains. Okay, so this is the Dolphins game. I was going to combine this one with the slant from the Broncos game, but this one is too good to not give it its own video. And Joe Flacco is in here at quarterback, and Crowder once again, the number 2 to the field in the slot, and he's just going to run a slant. And these two corners are on similar levels, and the number 1 is actually going to come inside. And so what Crowder does here is so crafty. It's intelligent and it's executed perfectly. He's in the head of this cornerback. Crowder knows if he starts on the outside and this corner also sees the number 1 come inside, this corner, he's got to prepare for some kind of pick that's trying to set Crowder up on a wheel route. And it works perfectly, watch. Crowder acts as though he's going to go outside, and this cornerback, he's preparing for it, and now he's lost. Crowder cuts it to the slant, and he's way off in separation here. And if it wasn't for Xavier Howard, this is a huge gain. Crafty route here by Jamison Crowder to get this job done. Just give it a look again. This cornerback is lost. Xavier Howard just kind of reads it. And if not for him, this is a huge gain with Crowder one-on-one with this safety here to the top of the screen. Okay, this is Crowder's first quarter touchdown versus the Raiders. Crowder is at the bottom of your screen with Denzel Mims. And Mims has the corner route, and Crowder has the flat right to the front pylon. And with this stacked close look that Mims and Crowder are in, and these defenders in man, Crowder gets creative with his release to use Mims and his defender as a shield to create separation. And Crowder's going to give an inside step, and that forces his man defender to go over the top of Mims and his man defender. And once that defender makes that decision, it's game over, and Crowder is headed right to the pylon. Boom, you see him go over the top. Crowder gives the stick into the ground, goes right to the pylon, and he's lost in confusion here. And Crowder's right to the pylon, over the goal line, touchdown. Great way to create that separation, that deception in order to get open for the touchdown.